Oh, Mom, we're live right now. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hi. Welcome. We're so happy you're here.
Yes, and I'm a little behind in my prep, so I'm going to slice up some shallots while
Amazing.
everyone joins.
Amazing. That sounds great. Well, I think also I'm Alexis, and this is Nikki, and we're doing a recipe swap today.
Yes, and Alexis and I are both in New York. I'm in the Hudson Valley of New York, and Alexis is just over yonder in the Catskills.
Yes. Yes.
So it is, well, it's funny because it's supposed to be cozy soup season.
That's why we
We've
chose
had
soups today.
we've had like the hottest weather this fall.
It's currently like 76 degrees here. It was 82 this weekend. I'm like, what's happening? Like the leaves are almost off the trees, and yet what's
It's
happening?
I know it feels like summer hasn't ended, but I'm so ready. Usually by this time of year, we have fired up our wood burning stove. Like we're fully in the fall mode. I'm not complaining because it's a very long winter here in the Valley. But
Totally.
listen, and I'm ready, and I'm ready for fall to feel like fall.
I'm like emotionally ready for the shift of the season. Like,
Yes,
it's been an intense year, and
yes.
I think the shift of the season like brings in reflection and quiet and like, yeah, I'm kind of ready for it. I'm like, this is so beautiful. But yesterday I said to my husband, I was like, I'm over the heat. I'm done. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Too
Well,
much.
it's funny that you said that because my newsletter, for those of you who don't know me, I have a newsletter and podcast and actually book coming out in January called Mind, Body, Spirit, Food. And where I kind of use this tool that we have of food and cooking to find a little bit more grounding and connection within our lives. But I've been talking a lot about this transformation right now as we switch into seasons, and it always throws me off. Every year, I think I'm like, I've got it this year. And I love the switch in seasons. And I don't know about you, but September, well, I know about you. September was exceptionally busy for you. And I think it is for a lot of us. And then we start to head into the darker season. But then what are we giving up? What do we have to shed? What are we holding on to? It like
Totally.
brings it all into focus.
Totally. I think it's that transition, and also like as you're going into the holiday season too, which is like another form of like insanity, and then you're met with January, which is like nothingness, and it kind of feels like there's like coming to terms with that process.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so we're about to embark into the dark season, into the cold season for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. Soup is one of my favorite foods to help me with that. I'm such a soup person. I feel like the warmth, one bowl meals. I have a whole book about one bowl meals. I love a
Which
one bowl
we
meal.
love.
But then also something about the warm comfort. And I can't wait to make your soup today because I love a pureed soup. And so let's talk about what we're making from each other. But I just want to say to all of you, welcome, and pipe in and ask your questions in the chat. Like we'll try to keep an eye on. So if you have any questions or want to comment or anything, please do so.
Well, maybe I can talk about yours soon or first, because I smell the oil heating up. I'm making your sweet potato and peanut stew. And when we were talking about recipes, and they all sounded so good, but when you said the peanut, I was like, I gotta be doing that. I'll take like any excuse for peanut anything, but the fact you're putting peanut butter in here, I'm like, what? I can't wait. So I'm just starting by sauteing carrots and onions and a pepper.
Yeah, that's the base. So this soup is actually, I love peanut anything as well. And I studied in Senegal in college, and peanut is in a lot of things. This soup is not that. The soup that Alexis is making is like a hodgepodge kind of throw together featuring some of my favorite flavors. But that idea of putting peanut butter or that peanut flavor into savory dishes, not just like I grew up in the Midwest. And if you were going to cook with peanut butter, it was like in a cookie or in a pie, maybe, but it wasn't in a soup. So that was what opened this door for me to like, wait, how else can we use peanut butter? And now it's like I have a peanut noodle recipe. And, I think a lot of us do use peanut butter in a lot of different ways.
Totally. But I feel like peanut noodles are like the most maybe approachable, the easiest like buy-in. And
Yeah.
I've never added peanut butter to a stew. I'm like, you're like really rocking my world here.
Okay, so now I'm making your creamy cauliflower soup with chili crisp from Alexis's beautiful new book, Nights and Weekends, which I'm obsessed with and I love. And this soup, I love cauliflower soup, but this soup is so simple. And so
It's like stupid simple.
tell us about it. All I did was slice up some shallots and added that to olive oil in my pot. Tell us about this soup.
I mean, okay, so Nights and Weekends has 110 recipes. 2/3 of the book is like easy weeknight dinners. I'm just gonna come over, taking you on a ride with me. 2/3 of it is like easy weeknight dinners, super approachable. The remaining third are recipes you might make on a weekend when you have a little bit more time. So I was really trying to, develop recipes that had like a ton of flavor, but were really low lift. And I feel like this soup is kind of the epitome of that. It's like this creamy cauliflower soup. Um, I think there's some ginger in there.
Yeah.
There's some curry in there. But you're not adding any dairy and it's like super creamy somehow. It's really like just super flavorful, super easy. And then you top it off with some chili crisp at the end, which I feel like, makes anything and everything better.
Everything.
Always. Always. Best condiment comes.
The peanut stew that you're making would be so good with chili crisp on top. I'm gonna throw that
100%. And I feel like both of these, like this cooks in like 20 minutes, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, both of this is too. So as you guys saw, I just cored a big headed cauliflower. I'm breaking it up. You can chop it up. We're just gonna add. I already did a little bit of mise en place. So as Alexis said, there's sliced garlic and there's ginger, and that's gonna flavor the soup. And basically, we're gonna go from there, and we're gonna see
Totally. I think what's nice about it, I think, often if you're using garlic, ginger, curry, or whatever, you think it's going, you can imagine what that tastes like. But here, I think it is subtle enough. It's adding a ton of flavor, but it is not like distinctly one cuisine versus another.
I have a cauliflower soup recipe that is also so simple. It's a creamy cauliflower soup. It does have milk, but it is seriously it's like garlic, cauliflower, milk, and water. But what makes it like yours, because it's so creamy and luscious, it gets topped with an almond caper and currant, like this like bright, zippy topping. And that way you have the contrast. It's like the chili crisp provides a little bit of fire and heat.
You want something to contrast with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Exactly.
Oh, so cool. Nikki, I know we have talked about your book, but I would love to hear, this is your latest, your fourth book coming out in January.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about like the journey to this book.
Yes.
If you want to, no pressure.
I would love to. This book, I've got 3 other books, but they're very topic driven, and they were very much written at specific stages in my life. Being a new mom, it's a book about using the food processor as a sous chef. A book called Buildable, which is making these one bowl dynamic meals that you can break apart. This was when I wrote that book, when we found we were eating down at the level of our 5-year-old. And I was like, where has flavor gone?
Totally.
So that book allowed us to all make what we wanted. And then a slow cooker book incorporating fresh. It's called Fresh Flavors for the Slow Cooker. And that was, again, the kids were getting older. I just didn't have time to get dinner on the table.
Totally.
This book is a lot different. This book is much more personal. It's called Mind, Body, Spirit, Food. And I kind of hit a burnout as a recipe developer, as a cook. I felt like I was failing in the kitchen. Even though I was still teaching people how to get dinner on the table, I have a quote in the book was like, I felt like an out of shape jogger panting to keep up. Like I just couldn't keep it together. And cooking, like dinner became the most stressful time of my day when it's always been the most sacred time of my day. So I was like, how do I reclaim this time for myself? And was years of me just honing in on some practices that
Mm.
started to make cooking a real form, not like a performative situation, but a
Right.
real form of self-care. And what does that look like for
Yeah,
me?
I was gonna say, can you share a bit more? Because I feel like, I relate to this like moment that you're describing, and I feel like
Yeah.
so many of us do.
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with the process. So, how do I come into the kitchen? And
Mhm.
sometimes, well, all the time, I think that's as simple as bringing some of these practices that I've had in like my meditation practice for 20 years into the kitchen. And they seem so easy that it's like, that can't possibly be helpful. But it's things like breath. Can I just pause before I jump in and ground myself with a few deep breaths? And what a
Totally.
shift that shift, and then bringing intention into the kitchen. So it's like dropping the end result, not worrying about how things are going to look. And for someone like you
Mhm.
and I, like where this is our job and how it looks is important.
Totally.
Dropping that was a big practice for me
Yeah.
and still is. Dropping that and just being completely in my like sensual body
Mm,
and let that be the focus, not what's going on the table, not if everyone's going to be sitting down together, like none of that. Like, this is
mm.
my time right now to be in my body and to explore my desires, my wants, the pleasure of being in a body in a way. So,
Totally.
and it's also a cookbook, right? So it's also like a book full of recipes, and all of the recipes have variations, so you can kind of tune into what yourself and all of
I
that.
love that. I love that. I mean, I think that's such a yeah, I mean, I feel I've been feeling that this year in particular. I think with a cookbook coming out, as you know, like the months of like pre-promotion ahead of it, which, is kind of like a full-time job. And, I think creating content on the internet, in my case for a newsletter and on Instagram, which is like, you're feeding the beast. It's kind of,
Yeah.
there's no amount of, you'll be like, I did a great job on that post. And then like, well, what about in 2 days
You're
or
never
next week?
done.
You're
Right.
never done. And that feeling of never being completed, especially
Mm.
for someone who's very type A and loves to like check things off a list, is really overwhelming. Like I found myself this summer being like, all I can do is like put sausages on the grill and like maybe make a
Yeah.
salad. Like that's
Yeah.
all I can do. And cooking is such a joy for me. It is my favorite thing to do, but especially I love like cooking for a dinner party. This is how we first connected on your
Yeah.
amazing podcast. And like getting to spend a full day in the kitchen just cooking all day long. And now most of those times I'm filming it, which
Yeah. It's different.
it's different. It's not the same. And it's, I don't know. I'm kind of wrestling with.
One thing I found really helpful, and when I work with people on one-on-one sessions, and I love asking this question of like, what season of life are you in? Because we all go through cycles and we all are shifting. And when you're in a really busy season of life or one that feels overwhelming, or maybe you have medical stuff going on, it's like to honor that. So, okay, like the fact that you were throwing sausages on the grill every night, like that was probably the most nourishing thing you could do for yourself because you were in
Totally.
such a crazy season of life, and trusting that that season is going to end.
Yes.
Something new will
Yes.
come. Your creativity, the time you have will
Will
change.
come back. I mean, I think this
Yeah.
is part of like why I'm looking forward to this transition of the seasons
Yeah.
because it's the feeling of like that kind of food that what we're making right now, the soups and stews and
Yeah.
gozes and bakes and like cozy, long, time consuming things like that does feel really appealing to me right now.
Yeah. Because it forces you to slow down.
Exactly.
Right? I just last night made a braised chicken recipe. It was a New York Times recipe from David Tanis. And even though we literally ate outside, I had a tank top on. I was so committed to this fall meal, but it was like polenta and the braised chicken with lemon
Oh
and
my God.
olives. And it was like just like the smell of the chicken in the oven. And I had made an apple crisp. And I was just like, there's something really magical about this time.
100%. I am okay. All my aromatics are cooked down, so I'm just gonna add garlic, ginger, and spices to this for another minute, and we'll just toast those up. And then I add the sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish you could, like, the smell in the kitchen right now is incredible. Oh, and we should mention we're sharing these recipes on our newsletters this week.
Yeah. My newsletters go out on Sunday mornings, so you'll get Alexis's recipe, and then she'll be sharing mine.
Yes, and then mine, you'll get this on Thursday, which is perfect. And actually, the temperature is dropping, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we're just in time. Okay.
Well, I added to my pot, the shallots got really nice and toasty, which you probably don't call for them that much, but I was chatting. But you know what? I think that's actually going to add some interesting depth. So we're going to go with it.
Too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
the garlic and ginger. And now your recipe calls for vegetable broth. So it is fully vegetarian, but I just have low sodium chicken broth. So that's what
I think that's great. It's so funny. People keep asking me, like, they're like, oh, can I swap this? Or like, they're like, I made this recipe, but I didn't want to show you because I added something else. And I was like, no. I love to see, like, one, I love to see that. I love to see, like, how people are getting creative. And two, it's also, I think, interesting as a developer to be like, what do people have at home? Or like, what are the things I should consider in the future, especially for weeknight cooking?
I agree. That actually, in my new book, every recipe has a variation. And there's two reasons for this, at least one variation. But one is so that people can, like, use what they have or hone into their intuition and be like, which one do I want? But the other is that so many of us, and I'm like raising my hand up high, get stuck in these ruts of like the same 4 weeknight dinners. And
Totally.
sometimes it's like you just swap in a different protein, or you take the same technique and you swap things in and out and you have a totally different meal. So it's really empowering once you feel comfortable with a recipe to experiment, because that's how you feel empowered, I think, as
Totally. Oh, I completely agree. I'm adding coconut milk and water now, and then I'm going to let this simmer, which is like, this is so easy.
I'm adding it. I love the addition of curry powder to this. So Alexis you add a half teaspoon of curry powder. Like, as she describes in the head note, it's not enough to overpower the soup. You still get that creamy cauliflower essence, but it's like a little bit of warming. I would assume you tell us.
Totally. This is something. There's also zucchini soup in my book, and which is comes from my mother, and she adds also a little bit of curry powder to that. And I was like, oh, if you just add like a touch, it is adding this like really intense warm flavor without overpowering.
I often add a same concept, a pinch of curry powder when I'm making a chicken noodle soup. Like, for those of you at home who have a favorite chicken noodle soup, just try it. Like, a little pinch of curry powder adds that little bit of warmth. And then a butternut squash soup is a little more obvious. But the chicken noodle soup, when you're not feeling well, there's something about the curry powder that's like, this is going to restore me. This is what's going to.
Oh my God, I am obsessed with that.
So when it comes to, I want to talk about, like, ask you a question when it comes to nourishment during times of transition, which we're in.
Yes.
Aside from soups that we're making today, are there any other recipes that or even dishes that you turn to help find some grounding?
Totally. And I think this, people might debate how nourishing this is, but like, a pot of like bolognese is like what emotionally is nourishing me. Like, I feel so, I'm like, I can like picture it right now. I'm like, that feels, it's just my go-to.
Yeah.
It feels so sustaining. Yeah, I'm like, what else do I find nourishing? But it's so interesting. It also depends. I got back from this book tour, and I've been like, I just need to eat big salads every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I feel desperate for greens, particularly like mustard greens. I need something like a little crunchy and spicy. So I think it just depends on the moment.
It's so interesting that you said that. I was just actually on a podcast last week, and the host was saying she's a nutrition coach. I'm not a nutritionist, so it was an interesting conversation. But she was saying one of the best times for her to really start to tap into her intuition is when she gets home from a trip, because it's so crystal clear what she wants, right? Like, what is her body asking for? And I was like, that is a great tip because we get home from like
Totally.
craziness and then we're like, oh, wait, I can actually hear this tug of what my body's asking for.
Totally. I mean, it's interesting too, because where I live is in, well, I'll come with me. I'll show you. I mean, there's,
Show us.
we like, I don't know if you can see, but there's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
you can't really see like another house from here. Like we're like really, we're out here and it's so special and that's amazing. And it also means that like, we have some amazing restaurants, but you can't get food delivered. There's no like, yeah, if you're not feeling like cooking, like you just must do it. And there are great restaurants, but like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, if you want to go out to eat, like you can. There's nowhere's open. And so when I leave or travel, I'm eating out a ton. And I feel when I get back, I'm like, I can feel how sensitive I am to it now. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I just want my own food.
Yeah. I love that sensitivity. And I think we all have that in different ways and in different calibers. But
Totally.
to start, I mean, this is kind of the focus of my work. It's like, can we start to tune into what we need and not, like you said, like drop the good and bad because that bolognese is so nourishing and that should be.
Totally.
Or like for me, it's funny because baking, I went to culinary school in 2005. I was fully in the culinary department. I did not the pastry department was like a little too uptight for me.
Same.
And so I never thought of myself as a baker until maybe like 10 years ago. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, this is so lovely. Like the process, the smells, like the coziness, and then like the sweet, whatever what it is that you're making, that has become a real form of nourishment. Like
I love that.
and
Yeah.
crumbles. I mean, none of my dessert recipes are fussy. They're all pretty wholesome and rustic, but that
We're in this very similar vibe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that from the minute I talked to you for the first time. I was like, oh, I understand, Alexis.
In a very specific, deep way. Yeah. One of my best friends here. So we moved back to my childhood home in 2020, from Los Angeles, and it was fall. It was COVID, so it's like I really didn't. I had like one friend from high school left, but we were like, who are we gonna be friends with? And there was this place called Russell's in Bovina, New York, which maybe some people are familiar with. And Maggie and Antonio were running it at the time. And it was very cool. I was like, everyone was going there on the weekends and like masking up, but then just standing outside, even in like January with like 2 feet of snow. It was like the communal place. And I was like, I need to be friends with this woman. Like, she's making amazing pie and she seems so cool. And, finally I mustered up the courage to invite her over for dinner, which was in like, I think maybe April. And she came over for dinner and she was lamenting. She's running this pie business and she was lamenting that like whoever she had hired to help her had bailed. And I was like, well, I could help you, and I had loved making pies, but was definitely not an expert. And so for like a year, one day a week, I was going to help her. And so we really became best friends over the time. And I got really, really good at making pie. And I think there's something like, I understand why people are intimidated by it. But there's something when you understand the dough and how it moves and how to fold it and how to crimp it and how it just like works under your hands. Like that feeling to me, it is like, it's the best.
So this is so, again, like such parallel because pie growing up, that's what I would ask for. I didn't want birthday cake. I wanted pie.
Me too.
And then so for those of you who are new, who don't know me, I had to cut out gluten when my oldest daughter's 15. So when she was born, I went through some health crises. And it ended up that gluten isn't a specific ingredient that my body can handle. And it was so hard because I was in the food world. I was a food stylist and I thought my work was ending. But actually what happened is it opened the door for me to explore a whole new realm of ingredients. And it took me several years before I even thought to play around with pie again because I was so defeated. And now I have like, this is not trying to promote, but I have a class called Mastering Gluten-Free Pie Dough or Pies.
I'm like, what's the secret?
It's like literally about the process, like making a pie from scratch, like your hands. And well, I have like a flour blend that you can use, but I also have a store-bought flour blend that works great for pie. But it's, to me, it's like the process of making it. It's not even there are techniques. There's like certain techniques for an extra flaky dough, all of that stuff.
Totally,
But it's
totally,
like you
totally.
said, like, oh my God, I can craft this thing from start to finish. And it's like buttery and flaky and so good. But that's my happy place. It's my happy place is
I
pie.
love that. Can you, with the gluten-free crust,
Yeah.
are you rolling it out
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fully. Fully.
and crimping it?
And crimping it. You cannot taste the difference. You cannot. But you can make this flour blend, which has a bunch of ingredients, or there's literally a store-bought flour blend, cup for cup,
I've
which
used
I've
that.
tested every single gluten-free flour on the market. Cup for cup is the one that works. And to the point where you can roll it out, you can transfer it, you can do I have ham pies, I've got meat pies, I got like
I'm
all of the
obsessed with that.
yeah. So it's a good swap because that means for any pie recipe that you have, like in your book or wherever,
Totally.
I know
You
how
can
to
still
adapt it. I can still get there.
look at that. Is so cool.
Yeah, I love
I'm
pie.
I'm so impressed. I also I was just looking at the recipe. Sorry, my computer's right here with the recipe. I'm not texting on the side. Um but I just wanted to check because I was like, wow, this is almost done. After the potatoes are tender, I just add the peanut butter and the kale.
That's it.
And then you top with lime juice, season with salt and pepper.
I have to bring this back to the stove. I will bring you guys with me because I have this little portable burner and I just
Oh,
realized it's not working. So we're gonna make do because that's what happens sometimes. So
that's what
I'm gonna
happens.
bring it back to
Realize.
my real stove and with the lid on so we can come to a boil.
Is it one of those like little camper things?
Yeah, this is from my food styling days, like back now there's like induction ones, but this is old school. But we also live in the woods. We can see our neighbors kind of, but we live up in the like in the woods. And our power when we first moved here, we've been here
Yes.
for 13 or 14 years, our power would go out like all the time. And we had no way. I didn't have a gas stove at the time. So these have saved me. Now we have a generator, thank God. But
Oh my God, we still. Oh, email didn't let me in. I've been watching my iPad. Oh,
oh, hi, welcome, Tina.
so sweet. How did you move upstate? Like, what's your story of going,
Yeah,
leaving?
we lived in the city. So when moved back with my boyfriend, who's my husband, we've been together since college, but
Wow,
he decided to get his master's at NYU. And I was like, the one place in the world I vowed I would never live was New York City. I am not a city person, but I was deeply in love and followed him and then ended up there. It was like such a blessing because that's where I discovered that I could be in the food industry without being a restaurant chef because I
totally.
didn't know back then in 2003 when I graduated, 2002, 2003. Like if I brought up to my college advisor that I wanted to be in the food world, it was like either a restaurant chef or working for like Kraft or something, like a big food conglomerate. And so
Yeah,
I just didn't know until I moved to the city and I was like, oh, wait, there's like all sorts of opportunity in the
whole
city.
world here.
Yeah. So I went to culinary. At one point, I was in PR and marketing for pharmaceuticals. It was like not the fit for me, but I worked across the street from the Chelsea Market right when the Chelsea Market opened.
Oh my God,
And then the
Tiffin.
Food Network moved in. And then I was like so inspired. So I quit this corporate job to work at a store in the Chelsea Market and then ended up becoming their director of marketing and sales. Then I quit that, went to culinary school and just started freelancing. And since then, I've been I've done everything like teaching cooking classes this whole time. That's the constant. But doing food styling, recipe development, writing, like
Amazing.
production. I don't know. It's just, and then finally had kids. And then I was like, I'm literally spinning. How do I focus my energy?
Totally.
And that's
Totally. I mean, that's the, I think for many, Nikki and I were at a cookbook club a week ago,
Yeah.
which was really amazing. It's like a group of Hudson Valley women who are mostly in the food industry.
Mhm.
Many, I mean, over half of them had cookbooks themselves, which was so fun. And we did like it felt very cathartic to be with this group and
Yeah.
to have just everyone kind of sharing about like the challenges of wearing so many
Yeah.
hats and like
Yeah.
what you know how everyone's making it work and it's something I've been thinking about like what's the I think there used to be this kind of ladder of
Mhm.
you go to culinary school, maybe you work
Mhm.
as editorial assistant, you do there was these kind of expectations of
Yeah.
how you move up the rungs and that's gone now.
Yeah.
And I think we're all just trying to find our place.
Yeah. It is so true. And it's like, how do I trust that this I mean, I talk about like spirituality, but not religion. It's just like
Yeah.
connection,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah.
But like and food. And when I first started, I was like, this is so weird. But this is what I'm like, this is what I'm being called to talk about. And it's like, how do we
Totally.
trust that path and how do we listen to that calling? And for us, like, retain the joy in the kitchen because I know it is for me and I know it is for you too. It's my creative outlet. It's my art form. And so
100%.
how do I like create those boundaries where I just give myself time to play without having it to be anything that goes anywhere? Like, how can I devote myself just to that, just playing in the kitchen without posting about it or writing it up or whatever? It's a thing, right?
Totally, totally. Yeah, I mean, I feel that so deeply. Both my parents are artists,
Mm.
and growing up, never had conventional, traditional jobs. Certainly didn't have 401ks or leave like what you
Mhm.
want this for. Um, and yeah, it was kind of like shocking that I went the route of like having 9 to 5 jobs for a decade, but I just for years was like, "What's my creative outlet?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
food." Like, maybe I'm not an artist in the way they are, but this is my medium.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. That was like the opposite for me because I grew up my mom was a teacher and my dad is very corporate business guy. So I was like and I have 2 older brothers and I was like always like the artist in the family or the creative one and the painter or whatever, but I was it was like I didn't know people who were doing creative work. I was like, I don't know if how does this work? How do we make a living without having a corporate structure you know,
To support you.
to support you? And so,
I mean,
mm,
that's really, like, brave to also do it, pursue that.
yeah, my parents thought I was literally crazy when I was like, I'm going to go to culinary school. Because in 2024, I guess is when I went, 2024, 2025. No one was like, it was, now it's, I think, the food world has just boomed.
Exploded.
It's exploded. But back then it was still like, wait, what? Like, we know you love food, but like, what?
Totally. Wait, so you were in the city, you were going out on your own, but you were still living with your now husband, and how and then what was the upstate
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
connection? No.
Yeah. So we moved to Brooklyn. I was working, I was freelancing, all these things. And eventually I was like, I can't. The city, the energy of the city just
Yeah.
got too much. And so we started looking at houses. I'm in Cold Spring, New York. We wanted to move here, but we couldn't afford it. So we ended up in Connecticut on a whim, like randomly drove by a house that was for sale, knocked on the door. They had like a brand new baby, just gotten home from the hospital. It was this tiny little house, and we ended up moving there. It was just so random.
Wow.
But at the time, there's all this food production happening in Stamford. I
Yep.
just like, and in Norwalk, I was doing tons of food styling. So it was good for me, but it wasn't our place. We never
Totally.
found our people.
Mm.
And my husband was commuting like crazy, crazy, crazy commutes. So during the recession, the downturn of the market, we took
Mm.
advantage of it and moved here and got like a super
Wow.
killer deal.
That's
And
amazing.
within like a month, it was like like we found our people, like our family,
Yeah,
family, not family. So
totally.
so
Totally.
lucky. And it's so beautiful, like being in the woods and being outside and the land, like talking about nourishment. Of course, it's not always food that nourishes us, right? It's a
Totally.
million different things, but the land and getting in the woods, we are like just hiking trails right outside. Like that to me is so important for my soul.
Same, same. I mean, I think that's like I don't know, it's one of the things that I really love the most about it, and I don't I feel so grateful for it. When I lived in LA, I was always I was going on hikes and walks and,
Mhm.
the mountain I live 10 minutes from Griffith Park, and I was really taking advantage of it, but I'm like, "Oh, but there is a difference in how I feel when it is literally I open the door and it's right there." I just feel a lot more at peace,
Yeah.
you know?
What else nourishes you? Like, can you think of anything else that
I
besides
I
food?
I think this is the question that I've been asking myself to be truthful, because I feel in this moment like very far away from myself. Like this year has like kind of destroyed me. And I've been trying to figure out, I'm like, who am I if I'm not working? Like what do I do if I have free time? Like I haven't really had free time, but theoretically when I have it again, what will I do?
Yeah.
What are my hobbies? Like what does nourish me?
Mhm.
I think I've just been trying to I've been like getting massages like while I can, or like a facial, I'm like that like physical release. I've been trying to like go on. I got back from the book tour and I was like, I have to move my body. I'm trying to go on like daily walks. Um, but I've been asking myself that question and I don't totally have the answer.
Yeah, I think it's in the asking. I don't know if we need to come up with an answer, to be honest, but I think
Mhm.
it's in the asking, in the slowing down enough to ask the question that
Totally.
sometimes it just happens then. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's
Totally.
because I'm a type A person like you, and I've been in a season of life like you're describing, and I'm about to probably enter one as my
Yeah, you're
gearing up for this. It's like in the asking, instead of making the nourishment another item on our to-do list, because that's what
right.
type A people end up doing. It's like it becomes something else I have to do. Oh, I have to, I have to fit my self-care into this day. And it's like that's just adding to the stress.
Totally, totally, and you're like, "Oh my god, like, I can't add another thing, I'm just testing the potatoes."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think you've oh my god, they're perfect. Um, I mean, I do okay, I actually I do have one answer, which
Yes.
is, let me get the peanut butter.
I'm just pulling my blender up from the floor where it's been sitting.
I love this, and you call for creamy peanut butter, and I have natural creamy peanut butter, which
That's
I
what I
hope is
use. Yeah, that's what I
perfect.
use.
Perfect. Um, the other day we like got together with friends and at my friend's house, one of our best friends here, and it was just so nice. It was so chill. Our friends, he one my friend Jonathan made this like insane dinner. He made it was like a taco night, but he like made the tortillas by hand. He like braised chicken. It was like next level.
Yeah.
Kale's going in. Gonna wilt the kale, mix up the peanut butter. And it felt so nice to be like cooked for, but
Yeah.
actually it just felt really nice to like be with friends.
Yeah.
Like that's really, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is feeling really good.
You know what I did this weekend, which I haven't been on many retreats. I'm actually leading a retreat at Kripalu this is in February. If anybody wants to come and cook and explore these things a little bit deeper, but one of m- some of my dear friends work at a tiny little. She's actually one of my friends is a physical therapist, but like way more than that. And another friend is a craniosacral therapist. And they all kind of work together in this group. And they had like a little fall reset on Saturday.
Mm.
And it was just, I just got to totally shut down. Like I just got to be there. They all brought, it was like a potluck, but we didn't have to cook. Like they brought the food. And I just got to it felt like I got to clear away all this stuff, like talking about transitions, about like the leaves falling. It felt like I had a full massive weight of leaves fall off me. And it was just a simple day of like being in community with a few women and I don't know, explore, like being quiet and doing some
Yeah.
physical movement practices, but it wasn't like this crazy retreat. It was just that day, like a full day of that, of nourishment. It was like, what? Why don't I do this more often?
Totally, totally. I was, usually we're really good about getting together as friends, just the bookstore, the last 2 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was a really nice reminder. And also like, that's something that like we have access to. Our friends
Yeah.
live 10 minutes away. It's like no problem.
Yeah.
And I think also, you know, hosting, like having people over, like really does bring me joy and like creating those spaces, the spaces where I feel like I'm taking care of someone. And I realize maybe that's counterintuitive, but like where we're able to like really
Yeah.
relax and unwind and therefore really connect.
Yeah. I love that. I think, and so when I was during COVID for us, we used to entertain a lot. And that COVID was a really transformational time for me. And
Yes.
I had to really look at how I was hosting because
Mm,
I was caught in such a loop of perfectionism and I
mm,
didn't realize it. But I think being the one in the food world, being the cook, I put this immense amount of pressure on myself to like make it perfect. And I had a conversation with my best girlfriends during that time. Like once we got through that and I was able to see like, this is stressing me out. It's not even bringing me joy, but it's my own doing. It's because I've got myself in this loop. So we just started doing takeout and it was like, oh
oh,
my God, we can just get together and hang out and just do takeout. Like what? This is so amazing.
it's
And
a
then I
revelation.
yeah, and I worked my way back into, like, cooking for people again, but it looks so different than it used to, and I still have to catch myself to be like, it can be messy. It doesn't have to be all done before they arrive, like, right? Like, I used to, like, have it all laid out and the candles would be lit, and I still like that. I love that, and sometimes just realistically, that's not gonna happen, and that's okay, right? That's okay.
I think it's totally okay. I think it also, I'm just adding the lime juice. This smells incredible. Um, I think it's totally okay. And it's also like, I don't know. I think sometimes I'll be like, hey, come over for a girls' night or a TV night and like sweatpants, like required. And like we'll eat on the floor in the living room,
I love that.
and I'm like, you're kind of like setting the stage there too of
Yeah,
like, this is, this is where I'm at. And I think you might be like, you might be there too. And yes, sometimes it is really nice to do the big thing.
right. Well,
Oh, this is,
it is. I mean, that was our podcast conversation and was about summer entertaining. And it is
yes.
something that I can see in you is like that sense of feeding people and creating these experiences is like one of your art forms and how beautiful
Totally.
that.
But it's also like we have a really lovely comment, but I have a Ivy says, same here. I moved away from the city about 15 years ago. Had a lot of fun nights without electricity. So many. But but we started playing Uno with the kids, which was way more fun anyways. I had peaceful morning walks in nature, and that's all I needed to come back to my true self.
Mm.
And Ariel says women in their 30s unlearning perfectionism is a lot.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Amen.
I did I this is like one of the dumber things I've done this year, so I'm picking a ladle. Um, is 4 days before my book came out, I hosted a party, a dinner party,
Oh,
making
I'm sorry.
recipes. Yes, making recipes from the book for the party, and it spiraled out of control. I had 45 people. I didn't have anyone help me. I didn't like hire someone to do dishes. Like it was just me cooking all the food, and I was like, this is not happening again. Like this, I actually did have fun once people showed up, but like I was in a truly foul mood up until that point.
But isn't that I always like, isn't that great that now you know that? now
Yes.
now that I always have to remind myself, like, God, I shouldn't have done that. I'm like, no, I probably had to do that. I probably had to push myself that far so that now
Totally.
I won't ever go back. I won't ever go
I
that
won't
far.
ever do that again.
Right.
Totally.
I'm going to run
Nikki,
this real quick just because it's going to get out. So if I can find enough.
perfect. Gorgeous. Did you get it all in the blender? It was so stressful. Agreed.
What's that?
Ivy commented, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that sounds so stressful." Confirmed.
I know, right? Even thinking about my book launch, like, what do I want to do? And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, how do I keep it simple and sustainable is a good word to use. We'll see.
Totally. I'm finished and it smells amazing. I just want to show. Wait, serious. Can we?
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
And I actually have I do have toppings, but I was kind of like wanted to eat it right now. But my husband just texted me that he's hungry, so I'm gonna bring him a bowl of this first, and then I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna
lucky guy.
Finished with lime zest and lime juice, which
Hi. I like that we're both finishing it with the acid. We know the importance of a little lemon or lime.
Yeah. And
can one use an immersion blender?
A super skill. Yes. And yes, an immersion blender would be a great thing to use here. I just have, oh my gosh, this looks so good. Okay.
I'm like,
but
this looks so good.
With the chili crisp because the chili crisp.
Wait, should I add chili crisp to this first? Or maybe I'll try it without first.
Try it without and then maybe drizzle it over top.
Okay. Wow.
Oh my God. The lime juice in there is so good.
Again, I think it is those like simple steps to like really bring it together. Sorry, I'm walking around with this phone. Okay.
The curry too, that hint of curry is so stinking delicious. Okay. But I haven't tried it with chili crisp yet.
Oh my God. This is like exactly what I want to be eating. This is the peanut butter.
Peanut butter, right?
It adds so much.
It creates this like lusciousness. I mean, the coconut milk too, but
the coconut milk too together. But wow.
Okay, I gotta show people this bowl.
Which yes, and I feel like it doesn't like you're like okay, it doesn't look like that like sexy. It's not like a sexy soup, but when you try it,
oh my God. It's definitely sexy because it's so creamy and simple and the lime zest and then the heat from the chili crisp. But then it's like so nourishing. It's thick and creamy and warm.
Wow. I did a recipe swap the other week with a friend. And it was so fun cooking someone else's food.
Seriously.
And like to cook someone else's food with them, like getting to see it, I'm like, that's like the coolest.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna give one more look now that it's all swirled and
yes, that's how it's. That's how you gotta do it. Wait, and I'm gonna add some chili crisp just to see.
I absolutely recommend the chili crisp.
I know this is like not the authentic one, but we really love the Trader Joe's chili crisp. It's like the only thing I get from Trader Joe's, but I think it's like
it's so good.
It's so good. I don't know. I didn't grow. We didn't have Trader Joe's growing up, and never really got the hype, and it just feels like kind of a stressful shopping experience to me. But the chili crisp will like go in and get jars stock up.
I use Fly by Jean. It's gluten free for those of you who don't eat the gluten. I think most brands of chili crisp are gluten free, but the Fly by Jean is definitely.
The chili crisp in there is like insane. This doesn't say if it's gluten free or not, which makes me think not. Sorry, I just got to
swallow.
a chili. It's so good. Wow, Nikki, this is so fun. This was so good. Remember to add peanut butter to my salad dressing.
Right?
Okay, this is very inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, the peanut butter. This is the winter project.
And I love adding silk tofu to soups too. That is such a great, 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 great tip. Because
Love.
again, like the mouthfeel and how for me, nourishment, like how can we make something feel luxurious, even if it's just a bowl, a soup?
A soup. A soup.
We give
I
that
know.
to
I'm like, yeah, I think, make the additions in like the everyday life to just like make it a little more, a little
mm,
bit more like a treat.
yes. Yay.
Oh, Nikki, this was so fun. Again, we're going to share each other's recipes so you guys can eat this like amazing stew at home. Mine goes out on Thursday mornings. Nikki's goes out Sunday.
Tell the name of your newsletter just so people meet.
Thank you. My newsletter is called Side Dish. I'm Alexis DeBoschnek. Nights and Weekends is my second cookbook, the one that Nikki just made the soup from.
Highly recommended. Let's see.
Roasted peanut butter powder and savory recipes. Have never heard of that,
Wait, what?
but I'm in.
Yeah, you've got to DM us a link to
Yeah.
this peanut butter powder.
We're gonna deep
Definitely.
dive.
Yeah.
Nikki, share your newsletter name too.
Yeah. My newsletter is Mind, Body, Spirit, Food. That's also the name of my book. It'll be out in January, but it is available for pre-order now wherever you buy books, and pre-orders are so important. So,
Yes,
but
the
thank
best
you
way to support them.
all. Yes, it's been so fun cooking with you, Alexis. Let's definitely do this again.
Yes.
I love your food. I love your conversation. I just feel like we're
That was like 2 minutes later. The food it's already gone. That's how good it is.
all right.
Thank you, Nikki. I feel the same way. More to come.
Okay. Bye all.
Bye.